Hey, what's up, guys? I wanted to take a second shot at describing my history with ulcerative colitis. So, again, the first signs I had of bleeding were in January 2012. I had just transferred to Cal Poly Pomona. Was like made the dean's list, doing good. Um, then by March of that year, I went to get the bleeding checked out because I was getting worried, thought it was cancer. I was given suppositories. Um, by June of 2012, I was bleeding profusely, just going, somewhere between 10 to 20 times a day. A lot of it being blood, scared the hell out of me. Um, and then it was kind of gnarly by October of 2012. Um, the bleeding had just stopped on its own. Um, I was I was hella happy. But a month later, it came back, and then by December, it actually began to hurt in my stomach. And so by January of 2013, a full year later, I finally went to the VA and had my first colonoscopy. They officially diagnosed me with UC, gave me some valsalazide, mesalamine. Um, I wasn't very attentive in using those. I used it not as prescribed, a little less than. But anyways, it continued where it was off and on, and wasn't really that painful until August of 2013, and then September 2013 is when it became severe. I had to go to the hospital. Uh, was there for 2 weeks or so in Long Beach. Unfortunately, I was in a room with three other patients and I contracted C. diff while there. And I was diagnosed with pancreatitis along with the ulcerative colitis. Uh, at that time, they started me on 6-MP, still doing valsalazide, mesalamine, and something else for the C. diff. Started with a V, I think. But uh, by November of 2013, 2 months later, I stopped the C. diff medication. Things were starting to normalize. I felt like I was getting back into the groove of things. But then February, a few months later, uh, hit me again. I had to make a visit to the ER because of the pain. And by March, uh, I was in the hospital again for 2 weeks. I dropped from 152 pounds to 114 pounds within the month. Lots of bleeding and bowel movements. I was going, had to be something like 20 to 30 times a day. Um, a lot of things in my personal life were getting jacked up, and I was still trying to graduate from Cal Poly. But it was hard for me to, I noticed, hard for me to recall short-term information and to retain that information for long-term use later. I've failed more than 4 times, 4 classes, uh, in my 2 years at Cal Poly Pomona. Uh, it's crazy. Anyways, I somehow managed to get my degree. Uh, anyways, by April of 2014, they had me go back to the hospital for blood transfusions. I think I had 2 or 3 blood transfusions. I had Remicade transfusions, and they put me on prednisone. By May that year, in 2014, things seemed manageable again. In June, the prednisone was showing up. I had the moon face going, but I was happy to be able to walk around. Uh, then July, the Remicade didn't take. I had already built antibodies. Um, they gave me Humira, and it didn't take the first time around, and so I was just bleeding. In August, we had my fiance and I had planned a Europe trip going to Germany to visit my brother. That was not fun. I was given some painkillers, fortunately, but still, that didn't help out too much. Um, September, an ER visit once again. I had like taken a shower. Fortunately, my buddy was at my apartment. Um, like I remember the stool coming out just, it was black. It was like a lot of, I don't think it was blood, it was iron. I was taking a lot of iron pills, but it was just raunchy smelling. I remember feeling lightheaded. When I got out, I asked my buddy to just take me to the hospital, trying to hold all this crap in, and it was crazy. Uh, then again, by November of 2014, I had pancreatitis. They told me it was a 6MP, so I had to stop that after taking it for a year or so. But anyways, that was like my last real big run-in with UC. In November, they tried once more with the Humira, but an increased amount. And since 2014 up until May of 2017, this year, the Humira has been working. But I did have a 3-month period where I ran out, and I decided not to re-up my prescription. It seemed like everything was fine. But now is September 1st of 2017. I'm having symptoms of bleeding for the past month. It's been bleeding more and more. I'm taking both Humira and prednisone again. Hopefully we nip it in the butt and like stop the bleeding soon, because I just don't want to go through that shit again. So that's my story with ulcerative colitis. It's just an ongoing battle. Anyone else suffering the same? Keep fighting the good fight. Good luck.